NYYST. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Swinging for the fences, knock it out the park. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Christian and Chris, of course SGR. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Homie, New York, Yankee sports talk. Record, rain or shine, grab your shades and umbrellas. NYYST, you're hanging with the fellas.
Welcome back. This is episode 290 of the NYYST podcast. We're live on NYYNewsTV. I'm your host, Christian. As always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
Yo.
What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
I don't know. I'm exhausted today.
Yeah.
Long
from
day.
The last two whoopings. The last 2 days of ass whoopings.
Did you get
from
whooped?
the work day?
Did you get whooped today? Is that what happened?
I had 2 days of ass whoopings if you're a Yankee fan.
You got a spanked?
I got a little spanky poo.
Are you going to make $3,000 tonight?
I think I am, bruh. Yeah, got a little spanky poo on Sunday Night Baseball, too, in front of everyone.
The Yankees end up splitting in Boston. They could have easily taken all 4 games here, but we'll get into that in a minute.
All right, let's get into it in a minute, okay?
All right.
Okay.
So, I was going to say something. I completely forgot already. We're 2 minutes.
You want me to do the bookkeeping? Is that what you were going to say?
We're 2 minutes into the show, and I already forgot what the hell I was going to say.
Hey, listen, anyone listening, anyone watching, if you could please take a second, if you watch us or listen to us, I should say, on Apple Podcasts, please take 2 seconds to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening or watching. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to smash that like and subscribe to the NYY News TV network. Also, please head over to patreon.com/NYYST if you want to support the show and be a patron for as low as $5 a month for some extra content.
All right.
Okay.
So, the Yankees are off today. Cincinnati's coming to town.
Okay. Thank God.
I
needed a day.
You needed a day to breathe. Now, normally, I don't know what the hell this dog's doing. Oh, I know why. I had a bone in my pocket, and he still smells it. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Oh, your dogs aren't normal dogs. You have like robot dogs.
My dogs are the fucking greatest.
Yeah, but they're not real dogs. Like you control them with like remotes and shit.
Yeah, sorry. So they're not fucking annoying. Okay.
So it's like press the button, dog goes outside.
It's called it's called classical conditioning, pal.
Yeah. So most normal dogs, they will wait by the door to go outside.
Right.
Or you'll say, "Come on, dog, we gotta go outside."
Got it. Okay.
I don't know. I've never met a dog before that always needed to bring something with him when he goes outside.
He has that fucking anxiety, dude. He used to give him the doggy Xanax.
Yeah, it's too early for that now. He gets that at bedtime. But he doesn't have a bone. Okay, he doesn't find a bone, and he's got to go get a toy.
Just find something.
He's got to take something outside with him. I don't know what it is with this dog.
Well, good for him, man. He's got a fucking OCD.
Now he's hungry. I'm hungry too. Let's wrap this show up.
Let's do this. Let's get this over with.
Let's get some chicken nuggets over here.
Let's do it.
All right. So the Yanks, basically, they split the 4. Well, not basically. It did happen. They split the 4 games with the Boston Red Sox. So they went into Boston with a 14-game lead in the division, and they left Boston with a 14-game lead in the division. And it's the same thing that we talked about when they were starting that big stretch, and we said we would take 7 and 6, but it's all about context, right? Like if they win the first 7 games, obviously, then you're not going to be happy with them going 7 and 6. So, I was okay with them splitting because basically at this point in the season, it's about eliminating games off the schedule.
Sure.
So if you take 4 games off the schedule with Boston and Boston gains no ground, you did your job.
Okay.
Well, except for the fact that the Yankees took the first 2 games, should have taken the 3rd game, and should have taken the 4th game.
Well, yeah.
Now, really, on Thursday, on Saturday, Clay Holmes missed a spot against Alex Verdugo, right? He missed it pretty badly, and he got beat. And it still wasn't.
Yeah.
He still when most guys get beat when they miss their spot, the ball goes 450. He found the hole in the infield. So I mean, Clay Holmes, even when he misses, he's still kind of controlling the outcome. So, I saw a lot of. I want to get your take on this right now while we're talking about this. A lot of people on social media were upset that Boone went to him in that spot. Like, oh, you can't go to Holmes there. Well, why can't you go to Holmes there? I mean, if Holmes is your closer, are you not going to ask him to get 4, 5, 6 out save come to post?
Yeah, look, the reason the fans, at least from what I've seen, are even thinking that way is because the Yankees' numbers are so bad in save situations in the 8th inning. I mean, you heard that the other day that the Yankees actually don't have a 9th inning or later blown save. Did you know that? Maybe not. Now. Maybe not or later. Maybe it's just 9th inning.
This is the first. Saturday was the first game, I believe, all year that they lost when they had a lead in the 8th inning.
Maybe. Yeah. But all their blown saves have come in the 8th inning. So, okay. I mean, I guess maybe they just meant maybe just not in the 9th, because I'm thinking in extra innings, maybe if they took the lead on the road and then they lost, like against the Red Sox the other day, that would be a blown save. But yeah, that was the first time. So I think a lot of people are like subconsciously against that, but there's so many different layers to the context here. Like right when the chat opened up for the live show tonight, someone said immediately that the split didn't hurt us. Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess that's the one thing you have to walk away with is exactly what you said, but you got to kind of peel back that onion a little bit, because at the very least, you could say this team should have taken the series, right? So it was almost like after they took the lead in the 3rd game, you're just like, oh, wow, they're going to win 3 in a row, possibly sweep. Then they lose that game, heartbreaker. Fine. Then you come back out the next night and you're thinking, oh, at least they'll take this game and still take the series 3-1. And then they lose that one too. And it's just like kind of like daggers. And it's more of, it's not so much that it hurt us at all in the standings, of course, but when you have an opportunity, how many times do we talk about this year in and year out? And I'm not saying this team is anything like teams of the last few years, but at the end of the day, it's like, how many times do we sit here and talk about how the Yankees need to stomp on their throats and just eliminate a good team, and they just can't seem to do it, and it's very frustrating.
I think Boston's eliminated, bro. I don't know what you're worried about. You're worried about them blowing the lead to Boston here?
No, but there's going to be in October, right? And we're going to face either the Red Sox or the Astros.
So the Yankees had won either of. Even if the Yankees swept this weekend, they were still going to be faced with a possibility of facing the Red Sox in October.
Okay. My point is they don't know how to just put away good teams and dominate in that sense. I'm not saying they're not a dominant team, and I'm not saying that they haven't beat really good teams. You know what I'm saying? These last 2 games had to have been won with where they were in the game. And if you want to excuse them for one of them, fine. But you can't lose both of those games.
Over 162, your closer's going to blow a game. Okay, it's going to happen. Clay Holmes has been perfect all year. He gives up the hit to Verdugo. He blows the save. Wandy Peralta has been great all year. He blows the save. I mean, it's going to happen. You don't want to see it happen. It's going to happen. So to me, that's not even that big of a deal. What the big problem coming out of this weekend is that our starting pitching, pretty much everybody that took the ball, except for Jordan Montgomery, got rocked. And it just goes to show you that, were we blinded by that stretch that they had, where they were just dominant, taking no hitters into the 7th inning every night.
Okay, fine. We can go there, but you can't sit here and tell me that those 2 losses were acceptable, that you can excuse one of them, but you can't lose both of those games.
Fine. You can't lose both of those games, but you're up 14 games in the division. I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Bro, okay, but there's a mental aspect to this too. There is, whether you want to admit it or not. Look at what this team does when they're all hitting, right? Look at how contagious this is when this team can't. Look at how contagious it is when they can't hit. They almost went 2 games without getting a hit.
Okay, and they
So
still
it's
won
also
one of them.
contagious to be in Fenway Park and to walk away thinking you can't even protect a 4-run lead without this team coming back, and your best relief pitchers aren't able to shut them down. That's a big problem for me.
He did on fucking Thursday night, so he blew a game on Saturday. What I mean,
it's still, to me, you cannot let that team walk away with a split series when you technically should have swept. I will allow one game to say, okay, fuck it, things happen, but you cannot walk away from that series being okay with the Red Sox actually taking the split when they had no right even winning one of those games.
You know what? I'm okay with anything right now, to be dead honest with you, because nothing that happens in this regular season has any bearing on what is going to happen in October. The Yankees are going so wrong about the that. Yankees are going to coast into October.
Oh, yes. Okay, fine.
Okay. So
they could do that with their eyes closed.
Whatever happens here has nothing to do with the Yankees. The Yankees need to become a better team at the trade deadline. If they don't do that, nothing is going to matter. Okay, so they could lose this game, they could lose that game. People are going to get upset. It's fine. You're fans. You want to overreact to shit. But to me, the Yankees have built up enough, put enough money in the bank here where they can lose games like this. And you shouldn't have to sit there and worry about what's going to happen to them over the rest of this regular season.
I don't worry about the regular season.
I've been saying this for months now. No matter what happens in the regular season, none of it's going to matter if the Yankees don't get better at the trade deadline. That's what the rest of the season is about, that they have to become good enough at the trade deadline where they can defeat the Houston Astros in the ALCS. And yeah, you want to take whatever you want to take out of this series with Boston. The Yankees are better than the Boston Red Sox, okay? The Yankees, if you don't pitch well in Boston, you're going to lose. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter how good the Yankees are versus how good the Red Sox are. We've seen it time and time again. The Yankees did not pitch well in this series. One guy did. His name was Jordan Montgomery. Other than that, nobody pitched well in this series. And they lost 2 games because of it. So unless the Yankees are going to start closing the holes on this roster, nothing's going to matter. We can sit here and talk about this, talk about that. It doesn't matter. Brian Cashman's got to fortify this team come the trade deadline, okay?
Well, that's for sure. I'm not going to complain about that. Zach Brownish, thanks for the super chat. He said, where is SGR? The show is amazing. Just asking. SGR has had a crazy schedule. We're hoping he returns soon to the show, and we will let him know you were asking for him.
Okay. Send it notarized. Okay.
Okay. I'll do a edible arrangement. Okay.
Edible arrangements. Okay. You know, I'm actually getting tweets last night of people saying, well, they're going to blow this lead. No, they're not. The Yankees are not blowing a 14-game lead, okay? It's not going to happen. There are enough bad teams in the American League. And in fact, there's a bad team.
If they blow this fucking lead, dude, I will literally shave either my own pubes or have you mail yours, and I will literally glue them to my face, and I'm not kidding. That's what I'll do. That's how confident I am.
There are too many people out there that claim to be Yankee fans. They just want to be miserable about the team. There's nothing to be miserable about right now. Yeah, you don't want to lose games to the Red Sox. Fine, but really, what does it mean? It means that all it is showing us is that they have holes. We know this. They didn't get exposed this weekend. All it shows is that they have holes on this team that they need to fix, which I knew that fucking a month ago.
Let me ask you a question. What would you say the percentage is if this team were to exactly the way it's constructed now? You can even, throw in the additions that are coming back off the IL. What's the percentage that this team, the way it's constructed, could still win a World Series?
They have a 50-50 shot of winning.
So think about that for a second. They're still good enough to still have that chance. Imagine passing up on the opportunity to really solidify this roster. You can't do it. You can't justify it.
So what this weekend has shown, this is what I really want to talk about this weekend. The Yankees need help in the bullpen because yesterday we saw that they need help in the bullpen. You have a game like Saturday night where you exhaust all your big arms. You don't win it. It's going to happen. Over 162, it's going to happen. If you're making a big deal about Clay Holmes based on Saturday's game, go jump off a bridge. Seriously. The guy's been fucking filthy all year long.
Can't be mad at him.
Can't be mad. Even Wandy Peralta came into the game with a 1.99 ERA. If Josh Donaldson turns a double play there, what are we even talking about?
And, well, that's very true also. And Wandy Peralta, if you remember, started, and we were just like, okay, this is the Wandy Peralta that we thought we were getting last year. Like we thought the flame, went out with Wandy. He started, he couldn't get an out. This guy. So that 1.99 ERA is pretty fucking impressive, man. That means he's really shut teams down since his struggles early on. But real quick, NYY News, Ruben, thank you for the super chat. He said, splitting the series still shows some of our worries we had. One, Cole keeps shitting the bed versus Boston. And two, our lineup is too top heavy. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into the Gerrit Cole woes. But I think it's beyond. I think it's more what Christian said, just showing the holes everywhere. It's not just the lineup. It's not just Gerrit Cole. It's kind of everywhere. We're watching a really well-constructed team, very strong in a lot of different areas. But when they face really good teams and they can't seem to put them away, you see them get exposed. And you see where their weaknesses are, despite being as dominant as they've been.
They're like 28-11 against teams with 500.
No,
records,
exactly. So. That's how good they are. But when they do lose, when they do get exposed against a good team, you see where their holes are, and you see where Brian Cashman has work to do.
We saw where their holes were when they played the Oakland Athletics. It doesn't matter who they play. We know what the holes are. They need help in the bullpen. It was evident yesterday. He couldn't go to Michael King in the 6th inning yesterday because he used him for multiple innings on Saturday night. So he goes to Aroldis Chapman. Now everybody, first of all, I love DJ LeMahieu, but I don't know what the hell he was doing out there yesterday.
His head was in his ass yesterday.
And fine, you want to give him a pass, fine, whatever. The guy's been so good for this team that if he has an inning like that, you can kind of just like, okay.
I don't think he's had an error.
Huh?
I don't think he's had an error, the guy.
Right. But that doesn't excuse Aroldis Chapman for his performance yesterday.
No.
The guy still couldn't find the plate.
Yeah. It's a big problem.
If you're Aroldis Chapman, DJ LeMahieu makes the first boneheaded play where I didn't see it live.
It was bad.
He got his glove on it. Could Judge have gotten there? Maybe. I heard Boone say
was
that
it Judge or Stanton?
No, Judge was in right field.
Well, I'm sorry, but technically, that's on the right fielder. If he doesn't feel confident enough to call him off,
he called him off.
That's the outfielder's ball to call.
No, LeMahieu called him off.
I know that, but as an outfielder, that's not your job. Your job is to say, no, motherfucker, I called him off. Now, DJ's job is to not call off the fucking outfielder. And if you're going to, you better make the play.
Whatever, right? So, how about picking up DJ LeMahieu there?
Nah.
How about throwing strikes, getting guys out? And it was it was almost like was it Duran? Whoever he struck out. He struck out the one guy. He swung at like 4 balls in the at bat, and I think Vasquez struck out on a ball too. He swung at a ball.
He helped him the whole at bat.
But yeah, and you can say, "Oh, LeMahieu does fine, whatever." How about like I just said, pick up DJ LeMahieu, throw strikes, get somebody out. No, he doesn't. He walks and he compounds the problem. He's lawn darting. He lawn darts fastballs.
Yeah,
I've never seen a guy consistently throw fastballs in the dirt the way Aroldis Chapman does. What's the old? If he came into the game tomorrow, let's say he comes into the game tomorrow.
Over under fastballs in the dirt.
Fastballs in the dirt. Would you set it at 3 for the entire inning?
3.5.
That would be your over under.
3.5.
3.5. Would you take the under?
Coming
on
off
that?
the last 2 outings, 3.5, I'm taking the over.
Exactly.
I might tease it a little bit.
You're expecting 4 ball. You're not even like you're saying he's throwing a splitter, he's throwing a slider into fastballs in the dirt.
It's a bad look, man.
You know, and then Miguel Castro, he's either great or he's terrible. And he was terrible last night. And that's where the game got away from them. So that's showing you right there that the Yankees need help in the bullpen. We know this. Now, why were the Yankees in a position where they had to where Aroldis Chapman's coming into the tie game? Oh, well, that's Mr. Jameson Taillon, who thought he was going to be, securing a 9-figure deal in the offseason, being a free agent. I don't know anymore.
Not looking so hot now.
He's been terrible the last month.
Terrible ever since the Pittsburgh start.
No, well, that was his second start. That was 2 starts ago. He's been bad for a month now. Has
it been before then? I feel like before then, though, he's at least maybe gotten knocked around a little, but found his shit.
Well, his last 2 starts have been really bad. But
the last 2 starts have gone off the rails.
He's been pretty mediocre for like 3 or 4 starts previous to this.
Yeah, I agree. Mediocre is a good word.
His ERA is over 4 now.
Yeah, it's crazy because I said last night to my wife that just a month or so ago, his ERA was 2.3 or something.
Yeah, like before this recent stretch, he seemed like he was going to make the All-Star team.
Yeah, I mean it's I loved the Yankee TikTok where Nestor Cortez is told that he's making the All-Star team, and it's almost like you watch it and it was great, good feels, whatever, but it's almost like, yeah, but like kind of a little bit, like just a little, that sparkle's kind of dimming down.
Yeah, it is. But...
And it really, it makes you wonder what this team has to do pitching wise to solidify themselves.
They need to go out there and get an arm. They can't.
But who's the odd man out? It's tough.
Look, the same thing we talk about with Chapman, right? You owe him nothing. He's a free agent at the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
If Jameson Taillon's going to continue this, if Jameson Taillon's really going to continue this, why not pull him from the rotation?
Listen, I normally we don't respond unless it's a super chat because there's just so much to go off of. But, someone just said that Jameson, Monty, and JMO are shit. I got to correct you just a little bit.
I don't know why.
I think JMO has definitely been shit for sure the last month or so. But Jordan Montgomery, man, I can't say a lot of bad things about that guy. Even through the shittiest of times, even when all the pitching is shit, you still pretty much know what you're getting out of Jordan Montgomery. How many runs did he end up giving up?
2, I want to say. I think he won like 5 2/3. He gave up 2 runs in that game.
It's the best outing we're looking at so far. I mean, I can't. I'll rip every other pitcher with you. I really will at this point. I think over the last month or so, they've been really bad. But Jordan Montgomery deserves no shitting on, I don't think, at this point. I'm just being, and I'm the guy who usually shits on him first.
Montgomery. I hate the way Susan says his name. Montgomery.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different holes. What's going on with like Zach Britton? Is he dead? Is he throwing?
I mean, we can. I just want to finish talking about Taillon for a second.
Yeah, sure, Taillon.
You're given a 4-0 lead. You give up a 2-run home run.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Yankees tack on 2 more, and then you give it all back.
Yeah, can't happen.
I mean, it's getting frustrating now because you're watching a rotation that was great, really start to show the cracks that we were worried about in the offseason. And you're still looking at a scenario here where what the Yankees are going to do. Luis Severino is going to have start skip because of his innings. Nestor Cortez is going to have start skip because of his innings. Even Taillon is probably going to have start skip because of his innings. So what does that leave you with? Gerrit Cole's going to take the ball every 5 days. And then what? Monty too, probably. Monty's probably the only other one that's built up enough to give you 30, 32 starts this year. You're going to have to get somebody. And you want to tell me, I could do JP Sears here. I could do – that's fine. But what is that going to do? Are you going to hand the ball to either of those guys in October? No. If Jameson Taillon's going to continue this trend or Sevy's going to hit a wall because he hasn't pitched in 4 years, you need somebody that you can give the ball to in the postseason.
Well, Christian, I know you hate to admit it, but I have to say if the ball's being handed over to face the Red Sox at Fenway Park, you can't even really feel comfortable handing it to your ace right now.
I want to talk about that for a second.
So yeah, I mean, we do need to add some ammo to the starting rotation for sure.
Again, on Thursday night, what happened to Gerrit Cole? He pitched scared. Look, there's a term that I like to use, and it's called a fuck you fastball. Mm-hmm. And it's when your fastball is so good that you can say, fuck you, you can't hit this. Yeah. And he had that on Thursday night. Would you disagree?
He really
with
did.
That?
No, he did.
He had that on Thursday night. He had probably the best fastball I've seen him throw all year.
You're probably 100% right.
And because he pitched scared, he gave up 2 home runs to Rafael Devers. Not 1, but 2 of them because he was scared of him. And he wouldn't throw his fastball to Rafael Devers. And then you got these fucking nerds, these fucking virgins on Twitter, the anonymous hoodie accounts, call me an idiot and a moron because they had what he slugs off of fastballs and whatever fucking Rafael Devers is a great player. Who's denying that Rafael Devers is a great player? Do you know that Aaron Judge is slugging percentage versus breaking pitches and fastballs is the difference is like 10 points. Like he slugs like 710 against fastballs and like 702 against breaking pitches. So what does that tell you? He's fucking great. He hits everything. Rafael Devers is a great player. He hits everything. And even if there's a big difference in between, which I think it might have been, right? I think it might have been like 150 points. But let's say that there was a big difference in between what he slugs versus off speed versus fastballs. How many of those guys that he hits home runs off of or bludgeons their fastballs? How many of those guys are throwing a fastball that Gerrit Cole has? And then on top of that, the fastball that Gerrit Cole had on fucking Thursday night, how many of those guys are throwing that fastball?
It goes.
So do me a favor, print your fucking stat sheets out and then fucking wipe your ass with it and then shove it down your fucking throat, okay? Because there's no reason that Gerrit Cole should have been afraid to fucking challenge Rafael Devers on Thursday night. Because the reason he gave up those fucking home runs is because he was afraid of him. And again, I love the guy to death, and I'm not telling you that I'm backing off saying that I'm a Gerrit Cole apologist because I am. Okay, you want to fucking put it on my tombstone when I die? That's great. I don't care. Okay.
I'll consider it.
But my problem with it, and I have to be fair, my problem with him is he gets in his own head and he pitches scared. And you know what, Chris? And here's where I think that he might have turned the corner a little bit this year. He got tired of fucking getting bitched out by fucking G-Man Choi, and he started fucking challenging him.
Yeah, yep. And he hasn't hit off of him all year.
And he hasn't hit him off all year. So what? Why? Why did you not have that same approach against Rafi Devers?
Because he's not built the way we're used to seeing an ace. And I'll give you a prime example. We can say this almost definitively without ever having any firsthand knowledge of a situation like this. But if CC Sabathia is preparing for the Red Sox game in his prime, and he knows that Devers hits fastballs really well, do you think that CC Sabathia, in any capacity, doesn't believe that his best pitch is better than whatever Rafael Devers can do off of it?
I think CC is going to go with what he feels is his best pitch. at that time.
You want to know why? Because no one fucked with CC Sabathia. No one fucked with him. And that's how Gerrit Cole needs to be, man. I don't give a fuck if Devers hits 99% of his home runs are off fastballs. I don't care. When you're Gerrit fucking Cole, you are supposed to have the best fastball in the game. You're supposed to not be scared of what other players can do off of your best shit. You are supposed to be confident that your shit, that your best stuff is better than what anyone else in the entire league can do off of it. You don't get beat by that bullshit. So I'm not buying it. And I'm really fucking pissed off at Gerrit Cole because you're right. You're 100% right. That might have been not only the best his fastballs look, but just overall the best I've seen him all year. And he still got fucking beat by him. Ruben, thanks for the super chat. He said, Cole throws it down in the lefty wheelhouse, down and in. When Devers struggles with top of the zone heater, slugging 480 instead of 700 down there. Yeah, I mean, again.
And where did those balls wind up? They were down in the zone. He threw a changeup and a cutter.
Sure, 100%. But again, I'm just going to go back to, if you're Gerrit Cole, you know how to get this dude out. You know what's working that night. You know what your best pitch is, and he stayed away from it.
Let me talk to this guy, bro. I feel like I could fucking get in his head and pump. Like, somebody's not saying the right. Look, there are sports psychologists out there, because guys, even as great as Gerrit Cole, get in their own heads and they doubt themselves. Somebody's not saying the right things to him. He needs to hear what I'm fucking telling him. You're Gerrit Cole, bro. You had a fastball that nobody could fucking touch on Thursday night, and you refused to throw it. And here's my big problem, Chris. If we're going to go down with this guy in the mound, I got to go down with him swinging. I got to go down with him on his fucking shield. I got to go down with him with his best pitch. He cannot fucking go down with his third and fourth best. He didn't even throw a cutter before this year. You can't go down with that.
No.
And you're worried about him in Fenway Park, and it's fair. And because I tweeted this a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to just reiterate this. This is his home road splits this year. You want to listen to
Yeah,
him?
they're bad. Yeah, let me hear him.
Okay, Gerrit Cole, his
This
ERA
is updated.
this is updated. His ERA at home. Now, mind you, he's pitched pretty much the similar amount of innings: 50.2 at home, 48.2 on the road. All right.
Okay.
In that span at home, he's allowed 13 earned runs for an ERA of 2.31. On the road, he's allowed 23 earned runs for an ERA of 4.25. Strikeouts are similar, but here's where he gets himself into trouble on the road as well. 7 walks at Yankee Stadium, 22 on the road.
Crazy.
Now, you would think a guy that pitches, because he's mostly a fastball pitcher. He's a fly ball, so a lot of fastball pitchers are fly ball pitchers, right? Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So a guy that's going to give up a lot of fly ball strikeouts, and fly balls are basically how he gets his outs. Why does he command the zone so much better at Yankee Stadium? It's almost like he's fearless at Yankee Stadium. Like, he trusts himself there way more than he trusts himself on the road.
It's called the reverse Sonny Gray effect. It's when you have the balls to do the job, but then you forget you have them when you leave the stadium.
It's like he attacks more at Yankee Stadium, knowing that where he could get beat on a cheap fly ball, but he doesn't care there.
Here's the thing. Think about this. Think about this logically for 1 second.
Okay.
When Sonny Gray pitched in pinstripes in front of the Yankee Stadium crowd, he was reminded that he didn't have the balls to do this. When Gerrit Cole pitches in front of the Yankee Stadium crowd with the pinstripes on, he's reminded that he does have the fucking balls to do this. And if he's the true ace, man, he has to remind himself of that every single game in front of any crowd.
So, I mean, it is what I mean. It's right there. I mean, the Yankee. You hate to say this, but like he's going to have to pitch on the. He's going to have to win a game on the road in the postseason. The Yankees want to win the World Series. It's just going to have to happen.
It's true.
But if the Yankees have to look at this and say to themselves, if I can maneuver something where he pitches mostly at Yankee Stadium in the postseason, I kind of have to do it right now. He's so much better at home. He's everything you want him to be, everything that you're paying him to be at Yankee Stadium.
2 things. You know they're not going to do that. because they're going to put on this fucking little theatrics for us and tell us that, their ace doesn't need to be at home. Just like they told us he doesn't need a personal catcher for how many years?
He still has one.
Yet still trotted one out.
He still has one because notice how
yes.
Trevino catches him now.
Yeah. So
by the way, if you didn't see his video when he got told that he's going to be an all-star.
Oh, I did not.
That was fucking awesome.
I love that dude, man. I really do.
And he's joked too, dude. The guy hits the weights.
Love that dude.
I tweeted it yesterday.
He tweeted it.
It's so cool.
I really love that dude. I'm definitely going to watch that. Definitely, dude. Definitely.
I was happy for all the guys that got named yesterday, and again, like I love Gerrit Cole, man. That's my dude. I'm going to ride with him until can't ride that no more. But he didn't deserve to be an all-star.
No. Yeah. Well, did you see? I don't know how it ended, but did you see that Tatis Jr. had the most votes for shortstop or whatever?
Hasn't played a game all year. Yeah. Well,
that's a popularity vote for the most part.
And I love, and again, G's my guy too. I love Stan. He doesn't deserve to be an all-star this year.
Oh man, I can't wait to watch this video.
I mean,
he's pretty jacked up, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah. Oh, and then did Nestor get out of the fourth inning on Friday night?
I don't believe so.
So, I don't want to rip on Nestor, man. I think the Yankees have gotten way more out of him than you could have ever expected out of him. But again, it just goes back to the point that we were making. The Yankees need to get some starting pitching, and there's a report out there that the Dodgers are having preliminary discussions with the Reds. Fine. You know what preliminary discussions are? Hello? Yes, this is the GM for the Dodgers. Hi, you're the GM for the Reds. Would you possibly trade Castillo? Yeah, we could possibly trade him. Okay, cool. I'll call you back. That's what a fucking preliminary discussion is. Okay? Everybody's getting fucking worked up. Oh, fuck Brian Cashman. The Dodgers are going to make moves. Do you know that the Reds sent scouts to Somerset a few weeks ago? I believe I fucking talked about that. What do you think they were here to do?
I'll be the first person to say fuck Cashman. But not with that.
Or the same guy, JP Morosi, was tweeting, Yankees need outfield help. They inquired about Michael A. Taylor, who a lot of fans were like, fuck Brian Cashman, dumpster diving again. Okay, first of all, this is Brian. I know we want Benintendi, but if we can't work something, would you be open to trading Michael A. Taylor? Yeah, it's possible. Okay, bye. That's what that probably was.
Yeah, but hold on. Here's where I'm not going to play your game here. I 100% stand with the people who are pessimistic about Brian Cashman making the right move here. I'm not going to defend Brian Cashman. I would absolutely agree with that. I would definitely believe that report. And I would not be shocked if he goes dumpster diving.
Did he go dumpster diving?
I have zero faith
Joey
in him.
Gallo wound up in the dumpster, but he go dumpster diving at the deadline last year.
No.
Okay.
No. And did I give him credit for that?
So what? So I know things.
So the offseason kind of set him back a little bit from there.
But let's give him the benefit of the doubt right now.
Fine.
For the trade deadline.
Fine.
Until it passes, then we don't have a reason to rip him right now. And I think, I'm not going to defend Brian Cashman because I said that I wanted him fired at the end of last year. I thought it was time for regime change. And until they win the World Series this year, I still feel the same way, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he made big moves at the deadline last year. Not Andrew Heaney notwithstanding. Okay. But I think the Yankees thought that they were a good team. I can't even say this. I think the Yankees thought they were a good team last year, and they thought the IKF Donaldson trade would kind of.
You really believe that?
I believe that's what they believe.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yes, absolutely.
You're that naive.
No, I'm not that naive, dumbass. I think that I think
so then you're admitting that you just think the whole entire organization is run by a bunch of fucking idiots.
I just said I wanted the general manager fired. So I guess you can.
So you're taking the incompetence over ignorance, I guess.
Sure, if you want to put it that way.
So you're telling me you think that they are incompetent of having an outlook of a winning team, that you feel that those moves truly made them better, that was their genuine intention.
Well, you think they
trade someone?
Do you think they made the trade to make themselves worse?
I don't think necessarily to make them worse.
Did you think they made that
to the level of they were speaking? I think they knew very well what they were doing.
I think they also knew what they were doing, is that they had a high payroll. They didn't want to spend money on a shortstop because of that, knowing that they also have to extend Judge, which we will talk about in 1 second. But I also think that they think that they were not that far off last year, that they needed to tweak the roster and get younger and more athletic.
And hey, look, who are we to argue? This team is fucking dominant this year.
And I think Brian Cashman knew he has chips. I think in his mind, he thinks that he has chips to play at the trade deadline.
Yeah, if he's willing to play them.
Okay, so he did last year. So let's see how he does this year. You don't think? I mean, he brought in Joey Gallo and fucking Anthony Rizzo last year.
What chips did he give up?
He gave up a bunch of top 30 prospects. He gave up at least 6
What was their names?
Glenn Otto. I bet you don't know who he is.
Yes, I do, actually.
Okay, that's the only one I can think of.
Okay, so yeah, a bunch of top prospects. Whole lot of hurting he did last year.
Smith. I'm sure a guy's name was Smith.
Whole lot of hurting he did last year. Let me tell you something. You said it last week. We will remember those names next year if the moves that need to happen. Because it's going to hurt a little bit. And the Yankees are going to have to feel a little pain. We will remember the names of the guys that get traded if the necessary trades get made.
So let this deadline pass before we dismantle Brian Cashman.
I will agree with you on
Okay.
that. Okay.
If guys start coming off the board, like we said, okay, guys, when all the guys came off the board, that's when I lost my shit in the offseason. Like, same thing here. When all the guys come off the board and Michael A. Taylor's the big move of the trade deadline, then that's when we can fucking lose it.
A deal.
Because last year, did anybody see Anthony Rizzo coming here?
No.
Was that even on the radar?
No.
Did we love Anthony Rizzo?
Yes.
I mean, was that a great move by Brian Cashman?
Yes.
So let him. I'm willing to, based on where this team is right now, I'm willing to let him work and then react to it on August 2nd. Okay?
Cashman's way better at the deadline than he is in the offseason of late. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
And speaking of deadlines, Zach Britton was a deadline deal a few years ago, and you're asking where he is. The Yankees think he can pitch late August, early September, but okay. You're gonna throw him into and ask him to get big outs in October?
No.
Exactly. So it's another,
But are you gonna ask Chapman to get big outs in October?
You know what? You can call me crazy if you want to. I literally don't care what. I literally don't care what the return is. Trade him.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say, you can call me crazy. You still kind of trust Chapman in the postseason.
No, I
over anyone else, because I don't. I would actually rather bring Jabba Chamberlain back right now without even throwing a pitch in the bullpen. Just throwing him literally right out on the mound. I would trust him more than I trust.
I think he weighs like 320 now.
I don't care. I don't know if he's thrown a baseball in 4 years. I would trust him on a mound without even throwing a warm-up pitch more than I trust Aroldis Chapman at this point.
There's got to be a team out there that needs bullpen help, right? That thinks that they could, that with a guy with Chapman's pedigree, that they'll be willing to, and you don't even have to take anything. Just take him.
Just take him, please. Take my shit off my hands.
And then, if that's a bridge the Yankees have to cross in October, where he's going to go and try to get, let's cross that bridge. Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing positive going to come out of him still being on this team.
Nothing other than just being some type of a blanket for Boone to go to.
In a 6-6 game in the sixth inning. Six is there. Okay.
It's okay. All right.
Did he even look interested in
No.
being in that game last night?
No.
Why? Because he's a Rollers Chapman. He's pitching in his sixth inning. He doesn't care. It's not important, and he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve anything more than what Boone is giving. Boone is giving him more than what he's deserved, actually.
I don't know who True New Yorker 2 is, but I still got a fucking wicked slider. Slider. He said he'd trust me over Chapman at this point.
Can you hit 80?
I struck my 5-year-old son out today.
Oh, that's good.
In football.
If you can hit 75, I trust you more than Chapman.
I could definitely hit 75 still.
So lefty specialist.
Yeah, man. Who is the last prominent lefty specialist?
Oh, Mike Myers?
Yeah, probably, man. Probably. He was a Yankee for a while, right?
Yeah, after he was bad.
I met the Mike Myers actually at a Yankee game. He was sitting a couple rows ahead of me.
Who, the guy from SNL?
Yeah, the guy from SNL. Yeah, Austin Powers. Yeah.
I'm not a big Austin Powers fan.
Fucking Wayne's World. That guy.
Wayne's World?
Yeah, that guy. The fucking insanely famous actor, Mike Myers.
He's not even the most famous Michael Myers that there is. Okay.
It's true. Do you think he's above or behind the pitcher?
Above the pitcher, behind the serial killer.
Okay, deal.
All right. So last night during the game, I don't know what was worse. The entire broadcast from Saturday night, which was by far one of the worst nationally broadcast games I've ever watched in my entire life, where
miserable.
They were trying their hardest to make you think that was Game 7 in the ALCS, when it literally does not matter in the long run of the regular season. It doesn't. It just didn't, and I don't care what anybody else says. Okay. Or we have to sit there and listen to fucking Alex Verdugo be mic'd up during the game last night.
Miserable.
Thank God the Yankees haven't done this, but they did do a little sit-down interview with Cone and Judge that took place before the game. And I had to stop and rewind and listen again, because Aaron Judge said something pretty interesting. And I think we have the cut here. Hopefully.
Yeah, I couldn't get it from the audio like I normally do on the
so for anybody
direct audio, but I'm going to play it from my phone.
For anybody that didn't hear it last night, Cone asked Judge about the contract situation, and this is what Judge had to say.
We'll handle all that other stuff later. If we get it figured out before the year ends, that'd be great. But and I still got great, communication with all the Yankee brass, man. They're great. It's been a privilege playing here the past 6, seasons, and I'm looking forward to hopefully some more.
If we get it finished before the season, that'll be great.
I remember someone telling me that Judge wasn't willing to negotiate contracts mid-season. And I said that I just can't believe that. I'm sorry. I just don't. I think at this point he's can we agree that he's foolish at this point? I'm not saying that he shouldn't, because I believe when you're a player like Aaron Judge, and you've said as many times as you've said that you want to be a New York Yankee more than anything else.
I don't think he wants to go anywhere.
I don't think he wants to go anywhere. So I believe it's the right thing to do. But in just a economical sense, don't you think he's a fool for doing any type of negotiating right now with the season he's having?
No, I don't think he's a fool. I think he knows that he knows he has the Yankees over a barrel here. He knows it. So they have to up their offer to him, or he would potentially leave. I do believe he could potentially leave if they don't come off that number that they presented in spring training. But, we were all told the same thing, that he wasn't going to negotiate mid-season. And here he is on national TV last night saying that if it gets done before the end of the season, great. Well, why is it not done? What is keeping this from getting done? What do you need to see out of this guy more?
You know what I love? It was so subtle the way he did it, right? The way he kind of laid the ball back in Cashman's court was very subtle with the wording he chose. That, hey, I'm open here. I'm open for business. I'm just waiting for it to happen.
I didn't get because I just remembered it now, but Hal was on a conference call earlier in the week pretty much saying that they don't want to lose this guy.
Yeah.
Hal, you signed the fucking checks, bro.
Yeah.
This guy just said last night he doesn't want to go anywhere. What is stopping this contract extension from happening now? I mean, honestly, Aaron Judge didn't have to say anything yesterday. All he could have said to Cone was, well, I'm focusing on trying to get a World Series with this team. Well, whatever happens. We'll talk about anything else. He fucking said, if it gets done before the end of the season, great. I don't. And he said, I want to play more here. I'm just so frustrated right now that what are we going to do? Is this going to be a big news story? Is this going to be a big thing that happens over the course of the All-Star break? Aaron Judge signs contract. The Yankees can't let this. They can't let this guy hit free agency.
I have two questions for you.
If he's open to this, he can't hit free agency. I'm sorry.
I have two questions for you. The first one is a little more vague. But as a fan, what does it do for you?
I don't want to go. God, I don't want to go.
As a fan, what does it do for you if the Yankees fail to sign him and he's in a different uniform next year? Just in a general sense.
I'm still going to be a Yankee fan, dude. I can't just.
That's fine. Does it at least put some type of wedge between you and how you feel about the organization?
Yeah, it's like you said. It's like you said months ago, or whatever it is. You're always going to root for the players in the uniform. It's just you would have to separate the organization from the players on the field.
Okay, so here's my second question, a little more fun. What hurts more? Judge winning a World Series with the New York Yankees this year and then wearing another uniform next year, or Judge failing to win a World Series this year and wearing another uniform next year?
Obviously, the second one.
Why?
If they win and he leaves, as opposed to they lose and he leaves.
Yeah. Imagine Jeter left after the first one.
Okay, imagine that they lose this guy and they don't win. At least I got the fucking World Series.
But at least you have you don't have to sit here and say my guy who I should have signed just proved to me he can win it all, and now I'm letting him go.
Okay, do you want
you have to look at the stupidity of how much worse it is from an organizational standpoint to let the guy who finally came to fruition, showed you he can win, to let him go and wear another uniform.
So you'd rather not have the World Series?
No, I'd always take the World Series.
Okay, so what are we
I'm saying what hurts more? As a
not
fan,
having anything. At least I have the World Series.
I'm talking in context of just the player. Looking at him in another uniform.
Okay.
Does it hurt you more as a fan of that player, not the team, that he just won a World Series with you?
Did Aaron Judge win a World Series with the New York Yankees?
No.
Then that is going to hurt more than if he did.
You're just a dick.
No, I'm not. I don't understand you're it's just a stupid question, and you know it, and you're trying to make me
I don't think it's a stupid question at all. It might hurt more just in a contextual level here of what I'm saying. It might hurt more to see Aaron Judge hold up a World Series trophy in the Bronx and then be in a fucking Met uniform the next year.
Would you rather not have that memory? Would you rather not have that World Series?
I don't know how I can justify rooting for the team who lets that happen.
Then don't root for the team, but don't tell me that you wouldn't rather have the World Series. You'd rather have nothing than at least have the World Series?
No, I'm saying I'd rather take it, but it still might hurt a little more to see him in a different uniform.
No, it's going
I'll
to hurt a
still
lot
take
more.
the hurt. I'll take the pain.
No, it's going to hurt a lot more if he doesn't win the World Series and he leaves. At least you have the World Series. Ask the Braves fans. Imagine if Freddie Freeman left and they didn't get the World Series. They have.
I don't know. Freddie Freeman looks like he's hurting a little more than anyone else.
But I'm saying, that's another story. But ask the Braves fan. That's their Aaron Judge. Freddie Freeman is their Aaron Judge. At least they got the World Series with the guy before he left. Imagine they didn't have that and they lost Freddie Freeman. You'd be devastated. At least I got something. At least this guy he's my guy. At least I won with them. At least I got one with them.
I'm not saying to choose between the two. I'm asking what would hurt a little more.
Yes, I don't understand.
I'm always going to take the World Series. I'm always going to take it.
I'm having that.
I'm also might be taking a little more pain to see my guy go to a different fucking team who just proved to me he could win it all here. It's like Derek Jeter leaving after 96.
Okay. Did I get the World Series with him?
You just don't get it.
No, it would not be like Derek Jeter leaving after 96. It'd be like Derek Jeter leaving after 2000. You know, you had no real emotional attachment to Jeter at 96. He was a rookie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're right. You have to have the emotional attachment.
So it's going to hurt a lot more if we have nothing. You have nothing. Chris, if I tell you there's two $20 bills, you can have none or you can have one of them. You're going to take the one. You're going to take having one $20 bill.
But does the one fucking smack me in the face every fucking day and make it hurt? Because I'll still take the 20, but it might just feel a little more pain with it.
To me, there's no more. You're not feeling more pain if you have. It's a dumb question.
For any intellectuals out there who understand what I'm,
you don't even know how to spell intellectual.
Yeah. Well,
I understand what you're asking, and it's stupid.
I don't think it's stupid at all because I personally would hurt a little more seeing my guy, my champion, in another uniform. At least if we don't win and I have to see him in another uniform, I'm again still taking the winning of the World Series with the extra pain. But at least if we don't win, at least we still have hope in someone else. We let him go and it's like, yeah, of course we're taking it if that's the circumstances we're given, but it just might hurt a little more to see a champion in another uniform than not.
All right, so at least then almost every other guy wearing a Yankee uniform in 2023 is a champion. Would you rather have none of them be a champion and be reminded constantly about how you failed again and lost Aaron Judge?
No.
Do you know that Robinson Cano got traded to the Braves, right?
I saw that, yeah.
Did you, for cash considerations, did you see that?
I don't think that even means anything.
Do you know what San Diego was paid for Robinson Cano?
What, a bag of fucking sunflower seeds?
No, literally, throw a number out there. What do you, now remember, we always
$1.
That you fucking nailed it.
$1.
They were paid $1 for Robinson Cano.
What does that remind me of? There's something legally where that happens and it's kind of mind blowing, but it just has to show that there was $1.
It's when you buy a car. You can't give a car to somebody.
On the books. Yeah. Well, you can give a car to somebody. You can gift it, but it's a pain in the ass. It's like a bunch of paperwork. Whereas if you just sold it for $1, then you pay the tax on the dollar, which would be like 6 cents or a sixth of a cent. And then it's a lot less bullshit.
Well, 6% of $1 is 6 cents. Okay.
6 cents. Okay.
So yes, I read that they paid $1 for Robinson Cano.
And what do you do with that?
What do you mean?
What do you do? What kind of player are you getting, admittedly, to your team that you're paying $1 for? I mean, where do you go with that? Where do you make that a bright spot?
Well, but like, how do you have that conversation? Like, oh, hi, yes, this is the Braves general manager. Listen, our second base, Ozzie Albies is hurt. I need a second baseman. Oh yeah, I got Robinson Cano. Shit, that sounds pretty good. What do you want for him? What the fuck do I know? Throw a number out there.
$1?
I don't know. It's like, I got $1. All right, fuck. Draw up the paperwork. You got him for $1. Like, is that how the conversation?
It's like they put
happened?
him up on fucking eBay auction for 99 cents and someone swooped in at the last minute. And
fuck, dude, if
bid
they would have done
$1.
that, I would have bid $1 on Robinson Cano. I could have had him come around here and do some shit.
My question is, the Braves have been such a powerhouse this last month.
Yeah, but I think I was just hurt.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, but okay, fine. And you saying you want to catch lightning in a bottle with Cano for however long you need him.
Yeah, and the Mets are in town, so.
But you're paying $1 for him. What is that telling you?
He's washed.
So why are you looking to Robinson Cano when you are actually becoming a legitimate team right now?
Because you got him for $1, and if he works out,
so
for
it's
2
worth
weeks,
it. Yeah,
it's worth the shot for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Holy shit.
So yeah, I mean, I brought up Michael A. Taylor earlier. I was looking at his numbers. He has a higher OPS than Joey Gallo. Okay, he's a better.
We're already apologizing for Cashman's failures.
He's a better defender than Joey Gallo.
Cashman's hypothetical failures. We're apologizing for.
He's faster. He's a better base runner than Joe. Did I say? Yeah, he's better. But if somebody said to me, "Oh, I'd rather just keep," no. When I quote tweeted that about Yankees talking about Taylor, and somebody said to me, "I'd rather just keep Gallo." No, you really wouldn't though. Trust me, you really wouldn't though, because yes, the Yankees. I would not mind, honestly. I would not mind Michael A. Taylor if there's another move to bolster the offense. I really wouldn't.
No, before the deadline, everyone has to drop their balls out and pick a side. Are you on the side of anyone better than Joey Gallo works, which is literally anyone with a pulse, breathing, that is on a 40-man roster at this point?
Even Aaron Hicks. Uh-huh.
Even Aaron Hicks. Okay. Are you there? Because I promise you, with that low of a bar set, you will be happy come the trade deadline. Or is the bar, not only do we need to replace Joey Gallo, we need to replace him with someone who we can really pencil into this lineup, who we feel makes us a much better, well-rounded team that can win all the way through to a World Series championship.
No, I don't
think
those
are two different standards here.
No, there are two different standards. But when somebody says, "I would rather keep," no, you would not rather keep Joey Gallo.
That is the worst. But I'm also not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, they got Taylor. He's better than Gallo." So Cashman technically did his job, because that's not the standard. That's not the bar I'm willing to set here.
No, if they got Wilson Contreras and Michael A. Taylor, I'd be okay with that. I really would be, because I think they would improve a position. They would actually improve two positions on their team. I would be okay with that if we also got some pitching help. If there's layers to this. Michael A. Taylor can't be the only move. There's layers to it. If they got Luis Castillo, David Robertson, Contreras, and Michael A. Taylor, then I'm fucking okay with Michael A. Taylor.
Look, two things can be true. The first is that Cashman has the pieces to go out and get anyone that's available of any caliber to make this team a World Series contender.
Okay, he does.
The other thing that's true is all of us are going to have a different line that should have to be drawn by Brian Cashman to not give up big pieces for certain players. Now, that line for some people like me is it doesn't exist. There should be no one holding Brian Cashman up for making a legitimate, I'm talking better than a Benintendi type deal. I'm talking a legitimate deal.
You can't give up Volpe for Benintendi. You know you can't do that.
And I'm fine with that. But I'm saying if a guy comes along where the situation's much better with a much higher level player, to me, there's no line. However, that being said, we can never sit here and say Cashman didn't have what it took to get anyone who's saying they're available, because that's just not true. But again, we're all going to have different lines that need to be drawn according to how we value the players in the minor leagues. But whoever's out there is available to the New York Yankees because we have the chips to get them. And that's a fact.
No, yeah. Anybody that Brian Cashman wants, he should not be stopped based on what's in the farm system.
Agreed.
I just don't know if there's going to be somebody available to him that will make him want to trade Volpe.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
And I mean, at this point, you fucking sold your soul for this kid. So I mean, you have to get a franchise changing player if you're trading him. And I don't know that guy is available, but there are guys available to make this team better, to fill the holes, and pretty much everybody else is on the table. And last year I said that I would trade Dominguez for Scherzer to rent him, and I'm not backing off that. And if there was if let's say Justin Verlander pitched for the fucking Kansas City Royals having the year that he had, I would still fucking trade Jason Dominguez for Justin Verlander and rent them for the fucking rest of the year. Okay? I'm not backing off a statement like that. But the reason why I look differently at Anthony Volpe now as compared to everything else that has happened is because the Yankees sold out for this kid. They did. True. So if you are going to trade him, you have to bring somebody back in here. Somebody has to come back here that's going to be here for 5 or 6 years and be a top level player. Like that's what we need back for him. And I don't know if that guy's available. So that's why I'm not so pretty much for me, everybody's on the table except for Anthony Volpe.
Sure.
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. But if there is a player that you don't know of that becomes available, that would deserve
like if
a
Sandy
return.
Alcantara became available, the Marlins wanted to fucking trade him. And they wanted Anthony Volpe to highlight a package. Brian Cashman said, no, I would expect you to be at my house within minutes of that news coming down, and we're going to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think that's more than fair. So the conclusion of this, of my entire point, was a guy like Andrew Benintendi. What's stopping Cashman other than an irrational ask back? And if that's the case, Brian Cashman should be a little bit better of making it transparent how much of an idiotic ask that was if he doesn't get a guy like Benintendi.
All right, so would but would Brian Cashman trade Peraza for 2 months of Andrew Benintendi?
To me, you can't hug both of these guys. You can't prop both of them up.
Right.
I'm not saying that one can't play a different whatever, but to me, it's just like, okay, if you want your one, fine, we'll give it to you. We're already conceding that. But Peraza's got to be the guy then that you're using to headline deals. And I think for this,
is Andrew Benintendi renting him? Is that where you're cashing in Peraza?
If no other better available outfielders come up, see, here's my thing with Benintendi. Not only does he check the box of improving a player in this roster that we need to improve, he also checks the box of we need a legitimate outfielder too. And this dude is just all around a guy who puts the bat in the ball, makes contact, and I want in this lineup, and I want him out there in the outfield.
He's not scared.
He's not
going to be scared.
And he's certainly not going to be scared at Fenway
Park.
I don't know where he's going to park his fucking car, but he's not going to be scared. And this dude's a winner, man. So no. I'm cool with that.
I think, yeah, I mean, you would have to look at the price tags. I mean, honestly, to me, yeah, you pull that. I think Brian Cashman's trying to hold out for something bigger to cash in Peraza.
Oh, I don't know what else is out there that kind of just works.
Well, what about Ian Happ, man? Why not Ian Happ?
Look, dude, if that happens, I mean, how many years of control would we have? At least another year.
At least another year, yeah.
Yeah. I think Ian Happ.
Or do you not want to touch anybody named Happ anymore?
Yeah, probably not. But here's my thing. There's something about seeing Andrew Benintendi in pinstripes that just feels like that's the move.
No, I agree.
I can't explain it. I think Ian Happ, logistically, just everything on paper, it makes more sense.
He's a free agent after next season, Happ.
And so it makes more sense, okay? I'm not saying that it doesn't. But there's something about Andrew Benintendi in particular that I just can't explain. This dude fucking rocked the Yankees. It didn't matter what he was doing that season. He was a fucking thorn in our ass. And I want that dude in fucking pinstripes this year.
I think he could have that Rizzo type effect where he just fits. Like the puzzle piece just fits in here.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying like, oh, we don't even have to worry about signing. And a lot of people are like, oh, we rent him. We don't have to worry about re-signing him. Let him help us win a World Series this year, and then we can discuss whether or not we're going to re-sign a guy or not. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think Brian Cashman, I think honestly, he's looking to cash in for something bigger. I think if Peraza's his biggest trade chip, because I think in the Yankees' minds, they're not going to trade Dominguez, they're not going to trade Volpe. And Peraza would be then their biggest chip. I don't think if you're telling me that Mike Trout, let's just say Mike Trout's a rental, then yeah, you obviously you trade in Peraza, you cash that chip in there, right? Mm. I don't think Benintendi fits the profile of where you're on for a rental of what you're cashing in your biggest trade chip for.
So you'd be against it?
No, I would fucking do it.
You don't think Cashman will?
I don't think Cashman will.
Yeah, it's a tough look. I still can't let him off the hook because we can't have a whole episode last week where we talk about how Cashman's going to have to feel some pain to make the move that gets him to the World Series. And then also say that you understand or you can see if Cashman has a perspective of not giving up that top piece for a rental. You can't have it both ways. What do you think makes it hurt? The rental part of it at the end kind of makes it hurt the most, I'd say. Because you're not debating if Benintendi can't help your team win. You're not debating if he's better than Joey Gallo. You're not debating if he can perform in the postseason. What you're debating is if you're willing to give up that piece for a guy who's gone at the end of the season. So that's the part that makes it hurt for me. And if we're going to sit here for an entire episode and say Brian Cashman has to feel some pain, well, fuck, man, that's not an excuse for me then that he's a rental because that's where the pain comes in.
No, I know. I agree with you on that. I'm saying I'm trying to look at what he is thinking because that is ultimately.
Of course, that's going to be what he's thinking. But we have to sit here and ask us.
I think
fans,
it's going, but I think trading Peraza for no. I think that's going to be something he doesn't really want to do. Period. So for him to pull a trigger on a move for Peraza is going to be pain for him.
Yeah, and here's my thing: people in the chat saying you shouldn't. Benintendi isn't worth Peraza. Yeah, maybe on paper, I can't disagree with you. But ask yourself, what's Peraza getting you right now? What's he getting you next year? Well, what's going to be around him when he is ready to win a World Series?
Well, right now, I would venture to say he can't be worse than IK.
Oh, true, but my point is. You're so fixated on that he's a top 100 player for a rental, and I get it. But if the Yankees don't win it this year, and I've said this in the past, we're in for a lot more hurting than we've had.
For a squirting or just hurting?
Squirting and a hurting. You're getting the double squirts and a hurt. Because if this team fucking fails, and we're trotting out Joey fucking Gallo.
No. They're not. Joey Gallo's not on the Yankees past August 2nd. No way.
I'm telling you right now, man, a top 100 prospect means nothing to me right now for the right player. And I truly believe that you're going to have to feel some pain. You might not like it. And that's fair enough. And it's fair enough. And Christian just said it. He'd probably be a better option than IKF right now. Well, then bring him the fuck up. Bring him up.
I said in the offseason, if IKF or Simmons or any of those types of guys were, if Peraza's glove was ready, according to everybody that knows these things, if his glove was ready, why was he not the shortstop to start the year? Why did we need to bring Isaiah kind of fluff in here?
I don't get it. Because the Yankees just don't seem to have a firm grasp on how to nurture these guys up into the big leagues where they see success. I know we've talked about it ad nauseum. It's how many times have we seen a guy come up and just fail here or not even come close to the expectations? The Yankees seem to have an organizational flaw where they don't nurture these guys properly.
And it's like, oh, I can't trade this guy, but I'm not going to play him either. Like, you know, everybody's like, oh, we're not going to make a trade. I want to see Forial up here. I don't care. This guy's like dead to me because the Yankees have made me feel that way about him.
Yeah.
The same thing with Miguel Andujar. Yeah, bring him up. Sure, great. He's dead to me too because that's the way the Yankees make me feel about him.
Because you know they're dead to the organization.
So,
and maybe that's the reason why Peraza isn't the shortstop. Maybe the Yankees know that he doesn't really have a future here. And if that's the case, if they don't want to show how good he could be at short and then make it a more difficult path for Volpe to take his position, then what's that saying to you in itself? If this guy should be up here right now and he's not, then that tells me that the Yankees really aren't concerned with what he's going to look like in pinstripes. So to me, that means trade him.
you know, and the Yankees' top draft pick last year, 2 years ago, Trey Sweeney's a shortstop too. I mean, like, you can't keep everybody.
Right.
All right. So we'll wrap up the show here. We got a couple of questions / comments from some of the fans on the Twitter. Follow us at NYYST_podcast. Okay. Okay. This is funny because I'm just reading this now. We've been doing phone bits all show long. And this is Robert from Florida. Okay.
Don Sicario?
Yeah. He says, Does Cashman take the risk and give up the necessary players to improve this team to get over the hump? Because if the Yankees don't make the World Series, is Cashman's job? He says, because if the Yankees don't make the World Series, is Cashman's job on the line? Thanks for taking my call. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've said it how many times? The Yankees they gotta do something. And if not, his job better fucking be on the line.
I mean, he doesn't have a contract for next year. He's not. I mean, Aaron Judge isn't the only one that's a free agent. It's Brian Cashman will be as well. And I'm sure, you know, and people like to say, well, if Brian Cashman doesn't re-sign with the Yankees, he'll have a job in 10 minutes. Well, that's good. Let him go somewhere else then. He's been here for 35 years. I mean, eventually you need a change of scenery. If they don't win this year, I mean, again, it all comes down to Hal. Do I trust Hal will make the right move and get a new general manager? Sadly, I don't. But his job, he should be feeling some heat right now. And he should be feeling like that Michael A. Taylor on its own is not enough to put the Yankees over the hump. And that's what I was going to ask you earlier. If I told you they make a trade with the Cubs, they get Robertson, Contreras, they make a trade with Cincinnati, Castillo, they make a trade with the Royals. Taylor, are you all right with that? Are you all right with that? Is that okay with you?
And they get D-Rob and Contreras, you said?
And yes, they get D-Rob, they get Contreras, They get Castillo, but the outfielder they get is Michael Taylor.
Yes, because you're still solidifying big pieces and also improving. We're talking about that lower bar now. You're also improving the guy who you've been slotting in that position.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of what, if the Yankees do acquire, let's say they do acquire Michael A. Taylor, it's all about the context of what else they did. If they did nothing, then it's fucking terrible. If they make other moves like this, then it's not so bad.
True. LA Yankee King, thanks for the super chat. He said, my first offer to the Royals for Andrew Benintendi is right-handed pitcher Hayden Wesneski and outfielder Everson Pereira or Pariah. Number 10, number 7, and number 10 prospect.
See,
man. Christian said it last week. Why is anyone gonna give Yankees the piece to put them over when they're
you're getting two top 10 prospects for a guy that doesn't
that should definitely do it
and is a free agent at the end of the year. I mean, that should be something that the Royals would strongly consider. Would the Yankees do it?
I think if Cashman stays adamant enough on being persistent, that the Royals might start high, obviously, but they can break them down where the Yankees have better top 10 prospects to offer at this point than most teams can offer in their top, 10, 5. So I think that eventually the Royals will come to reality that they can still really add pieces to their farm and give up a rental.
Joe Sag says, after this winter where we passed on player after player, I can't buy that they're going to make moves at the deadline. Are you convinced? I mean, we just talked about this. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt at the deadline because of what he did last year. If he sat on his hands and did nothing last year, then yeah, I probably would be with you in thinking that. Backed up deadline last year, off season this year.
Right.
But, you know, he did get Joey Gallo. And, you know, Joey Gallo at the time was a move that 80% of Yankee fans, 85 wanted and would have been mad if they didn't make. And he did.
Agree.
You know, you can't, I mean, people are going to tell you that they could predict these things, and that's fine. Well, why aren't you a fucking lottery winner then? All right.
Seriously. Come on. All right.
But, you know, he was a guy that slugged 900. You know, he was a guy that played Gold Glove defense, left-hander. We didn't have any. I mean, it made a lot of sense. And Cashman got it done. And then he went out of nowhere and pulled fucking Anthony Rizzo. So, I mean, we got to give him the benefit of the doubt for this deadline. When August 2nd passes and he doesn't do anything, then, well, we're going to fucking kill him. Not literally.
Not literally. Figuratively. Okay. Theoretically.
Okay. Mark Ferraro asks, is the dream scenario for the deadline Benintendi and Luis Castillo?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, look, any players like that or them themselves, I will take any day of the week.
Okay. All right. And then we'll wrap up with Eric Bardis. I know there's plenty of talk around Benintendi. But what are your guys' thoughts on going after someone like Ian Happ? He says, don't the Cubs kind of owe us a World Series piece?
Yeah, like I said before, I think Ian Happ, you know, taking everything into consideration is probably the smarter choice. If assuming you'd have to give up the same amount.
There's an addition to his tweet. He said, I also meant to include to try to add David Robertson to the pen. He goes, that's where I would cash in Peraza.
There you go.
Yeah, if I'm getting Peraza, if we're doing a deal with the Cubs and we're getting Happ and Robertson, I think you cash in Peraza at that point.
Gotta. You have to.
Even though Happ's not a long-term solution, you're getting a guy under control for next year, fills a big hole this year, and you're getting another guy, even though he's going to walk, that you've had in your clubhouse twice
for a guy
already.
That's never seen a major league pitch, that you have zero clue what he's going to be as a baseball player.
Zero clue.
Zero.
So, all right.
Okay.
We'll do the look ahead here. Okay. The Cincinnati Reds are in town. All right. That's thrilling. Okay. 1976 World Series revenge.
Awful.
All right. Where the frig is this? All right. So Gerrit Cole's going to take the ball against Mike Minor. Wow. I mean, if the Yankees.
What a fucking.
Actually, no. Ashcraft. Ashcraft is pitching for the Reds on Tuesday. So it's Ashcraft against Cole, and then Sevy against Mike Minor, and then Castillo. Oh boy, Castillo against Nasty Nestor on Thursday. All 7:05 starts. Should the Yankees do the right thing and bludgeon Castillo to lower his trade value? I mean,
hell yeah.
And then the Red Sox are in town to close out the first half of the regular season. I can't believe we're at our next show will be during the All-Star break.
I know. Crazy.
That's wild that we've gotten this far already.
Crazy shit, man.
So we'll be back we'll go live during the home run derby. And
yeah, bro. Maybe we'll make a drinking game out of it.
And we'll discuss the first half of the year. We'll be back next Monday, the 18th. We'll go live during the home run derby. Okay. And then, that'll be the last time. This is our last show before the All-Star break.
For the break.
Hey. You know, I was thinking about this today, right? It's like you wait all fucking winter. The winter is so long.
And then it just goes by.
And then boom, like you're in the middle of July already. And like I'll be here next week and then I'm going on vacation. When I get back, fucking summer's basically over.
Remember when we didn't even know if we were gonna have a season?
Okay. You were worried about that.
I was.
All right. So thank you to everybody that's been in the live chat tonight. We thank you for your continued support of NYYST and NYY News TV. Thank you very much for listening and watching episode 290 of the NYYST podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at NYYST_podcast. Chris, say goodbye.
Peace.